What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So we've already talked about the half of the data download introducing Legend Shiryu, the rare recruit of Vasco Shot, Vice Admiral Dole, all appearing in the Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest. But in this Kizuna Clash event, we're going to get access to that super evolution of Magellan. So we're going to talk about him today. We'll have a brief rundown about, Magellan as he is right now, to give you a little bit of a recap as to what you can expect for him and what his super evolution might entail, and just to see and compare and contrast how he's evolved, how he has actually been upgraded in this super evolution. So the class and types do not change, still quick shooter and powerhouse. As for his current abilities, 5 times attack to quick when you're above 70% health, 4.5 otherwise, 4 times to all other characters, so not terrible when he first came out. He would give 1.3 HP, 10 turns of paralysis removal, so it's nice that he has a little bit of utility in that captain effect. And then whenever you move into a new stage, you heal 25% of the damage that you took in that stage when you move on. So he wanted to be at the high HP thresholds to maintain that high damage for your quick characters. So it's a fine captain ability, but it doesn't wow you, right? It doesn't have any crazy abilities. His super type ability also wasn't really that great. The condition is kind of choppy, and you just remove poison completely and then heal an additional 25% of HP when you move on to the next stage. So it's the same thing in his captain effect, just providing a bit more additional healing effects. So nothing too crazy there. The special ability would be a 10% health cut to all enemies, bind and burn removal by 3 turns, color affinity was given, and then it applies a poison. But if you use his special while the enemy has a poison, it gives you an attack boost instead. The major issue with this character is that, you can't really fully abuse these abilities with the double special launch that he has, because the enemy, if they have an immunity to poison, the whole kit just doesn't work properly, right? So that's the biggest issue that this character has. Now in Rumble, he actually was still pretty good, giving quick characters 5 HP, 5 attack, and then he gives himself level 2 special CT increase in the first 30 seconds of a game. So in Rumble, when he first came out, he was a mainstay on quick teams. He was very, very good. The special ability, 27 CT, very respectable, medium range defense down level 3, medium range 1.7 damage, and then he gets one of your quick characters for a 50% chance of haste, and then if you use the special within the first 40 seconds, a further level 3 defense down. So this is why he was very good. He just provided really good debuffing and good damage, just solid damage because of the defense down on top of then doing damage, and then also had the chance to haste one of your characters. So overall, Magellan, when he first came out, was a very, very good unit. At least in Rumble, he was very, very good. In normal content, he was just never used all that much, just because if the enemy had the immunity, he was kind of stuck. Let's have a look though at his super evolution. What have they done different? So as I said, class and type combination stays the same. What we're going to have a look at here is his abilities with max level limit break. So these are the max possible abilities that this character will have. So your Magellan might look a little bit different than what you see here, but if you do have the max investment, this is what he's going to look like. First of which, the captain ability gives -1 turn of cooldown to quick characters. Most characters that super evolve feel like they have this at this point in time, just giving -1 turn of cooldown. 5.25 times attack to quick characters when you're above 70% health, 5 times otherwise, and then also boost damage dealt to enemies affected by poison, venom, or progressive poison by 1.1 times. So if you get the 5.25 times boost, multiplied by 1.1, I believe it's somewhere in the range of 5.7 to 5.8, so it's actually a pretty sizable damage increase from where he was before. All other characters still receive a 4.5 times boost, 1.3 times HP, makes quick and tandem slots beneficial, remove 10 turns of paralysis, so most of this is still the same aside from bigger numbers, cooldown reduction, and then additional damage if they're inflicted with a poison, healing 25% of the damage that you receive whenever you move on to the next battle. And this is the big thing right here, right at the bottom. Allows the crew to apply any type of poisons on enemies, ignoring every type of immunity. This is what he needed. This is going to make Magellan actually usable in content. Now, because of this ability, is he actually going to see a plethora of content released now because of Magellan having this ability? No, probably not, but it does make him usable in some aspects. Because when we have a look at the super type, the condition stays the same, but the super type special is slightly changed as well. Completely removes all form of poison, and then will also go ahead, apply progressive poison to all enemies. And that's really good that he can do that in his super type now, because it does mention that a little effect that says your crew's ability to apply poison that goes through immunities. That doesn't mention crews poisons from specials. It just says poisons, period. So the fact that the super type also inflicts a toxic or a poison or a progressive poison, whatever you want to call it, means that you can go ahead and then launch this special ability, and because the enemy will have a poison from his super type, you're going to get all of the abilities straight off the cuff. You don't have to use the double special launch to get both abilities to activate. You can just use the super type, then go ahead and use the special ability, and you're going to get all the abilities at once. So you don't have to use double special if you don't really want to, which means you can save another special for later on in the fight. Either way, let's have a look at this special ability. First of which, it's a 20% health cut, so that's up from 10%. Reduces bind and burn duration by 4 turns now instead of 3. If the enemy is affected by a poison, venom, or a progressive poison, or has 10 or more status effects when you launch the special, it will give you a 2.75 times attack boost for 1 turn. So it's slightly different. The bind and burn removal is better, the health cut is better, which is redundant anyway, but the attack boost going from a 2.5 to 2.75 is kind of nice. And then it also says minus 10% quick shooter and powerhouse resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. So even if you do use the super type first to inflict the toxic, then you use his special twice, you're going to be able to get minus 20% quick shooter and powerhouse resistance. And remember, because Magellan is both quick shooter and powerhouse, all of these are separate buffs on the enemy, which means that they're multiplied within each other, which means it could be 20% multiplied by a 20% boost, multiplied by another 20% boost, just from the resistances alone, makes Magellan hit way more harder than what he did before. It says, then after that, boost the color affinity of your crew by 2.75 for 1 turn. So this was up from a 2 times color affinity boost to 2.75, so that's a big jump. And also applies a progressive poison to all enemies. So if you do use the special, of course, as the captain, he will allow this poison in his special to go through immunity, but I do assume the way that it's kind of structured that the super type will also do this as well. So overall, I don't think it's going to make Magellan, like, all of a sudden overnight he's going to be a sensation and be one of the best legends in the game. Definitely nowhere near that. But it's going to make him usable, and I definitely think it makes him an actual viable option in some pieces of content. Remember that the super type does remove poison on your side of the field, so you could technically use the super type to get around poison slots if you have to deal with that in some fashion. He does have barrier pierce, which is great. He is a shooter character, can synergize somewhat with the shooter teams, of course. He just seems like a solid legend, you know what I mean? He just seems solid. In terms of his Rumble stuff, the Rumble stuff also has received some pretty nice increases. Remember, this is max level limit break. The Rumble ability, quick teammates, 6 health, 6 attack, 6 speed, and then level 2 CT up in the first 30 seconds. So all of the numbers are buffed by 1 level, except for the CT, and speed has been added into his Rumble ability. The Rumble special, still at 27 CT, targets enemies in a large range. This has been upped from a medium range. Level 5 defense down, buffed from level 3. And it does 3 times damage as well in that same range. So this was before a medium range, level 3 defense down, 1.7 damage. Now it's large range, level 5 defense down, 3 times damage. Already massive buff. He then targets himself for a 100% chance of haste, so he goes immediately back to the top of the order to attack again, and then targets one of your other quick allies for a 50% chance to be hasted. If his special's launched in the first 40 seconds, it's a further level 5 defense down. So this guy by himself doing level 10 defense down in the first 40 seconds, that's pretty strong, allowing your other allies to hit even harder. This might be a new character you could add to your quick teams. He seems very, very good. He evades special bind and strength damage reduction by 40%, could be okay. But honestly, Magellan overall seems just like a solid unit. I think that, you know, you're not going to use him that often, but if you are going to use him, I feel like the best places to use a guy like this, GARP challenges. If you still have GARP challenges to complete, he's going to be a very, very good asset for that. And he's actually going to be a solid option for co-op quests. Like, if you have to go into a co-op quest by completing a mission with a shooter, powerhouse, or a quick unit, this may be a solid option for those types of teams. Because I know some of the team building for co-op quests can be quite difficult. This is just going to give you another option that you could potentially use. You know, because remember, this poison being allowed to go through status effects means you can go through enemy resilience buffs as well. So that could be super useful too. But that's the breakdown of Magellan. I think the artwork looks great too. Overall, I'm pretty content with this Super Evolution buff. I think they've done a pretty decent job. It's nowhere near the best Super Evolution of the year though. I still think V3 Rayleigh is my favorite 6+ of the year. but he's definitely not the worst. We've definitely had worse 6+s this year, but this guy's really solid. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about him down below in the comment section. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.